Hey, Facebook Live, it's another day. It's another law. And I'm glad you're here with me. Nathan Eckel here, as you know, and I'm on the front porch, and it's a hot one. But I wanted to dress up real nice for you because today we're going to be talking about another law. We're going to be talking about the law of curiosity from the 15 invaluable laws of growth. We're going to be diving into this one. And I was so happy yesterday. Oh my gosh, I'm going to tell you something. I stopped being curious about the power of a mastermind group. I stopped being curious about the power that we have as people just coming around a common mission, asking questions, having some kind of a proven material to be able to get to know other people, get to know our goals, our dreams, what we want out of our lives and our businesses and our careers. And I stopped being curious yesterday. But I'll tell you what, I got little 2x4 smack on me. It's like, whoa, I didn't know I was going to get the smack. And usually when you get the smack, it's not a good smack. But yesterday, in my case and in the case of everybody else that came to our first mastermind on the 15 Laws of Growth over at the Mill, which is the swankiest co-working space in town, I got a smack, and it was a good smack. And the smack was this: people are hungry out there. People are looking to grow, and I had, as a result of partnering up with the library and being generous with my time and some of the content that certainly I had to invest in and be able to invest time and resources and a lot of travel and everything else. As a result of that, there was a small group, because I like to keep my masterminds very, very small. Melanie, good to see you from the front of an airplane. All right, safe travels, Melanie. It's really important not to underestimate the power of hunger and the power of I'll call it a righteous dissatisfaction that people have, that ambitious people have, that people have who are not going to give up in life, not going to give up on their career, not going to give up on one another or themselves. And we want to spread good ideas, and we want to look at good ideas and be able to add value to ourselves and others. So I started getting a little bit curious because yesterday was a very good turning point for me, because I had a very good experience leading a mastermind group yesterday, which is good because I haven't really done one of these things live. I haven't done one live in a very, very long time. And when I thought about it in the course of sharing in the mastermind group, I mean, we were talking about the law of intentionality, which I shared right here. We talked about it on Facebook Live, and then I went and brought it to them last week, and it was absolutely huge. Hey, Hillary. Good stuff. So Hillary was in my last mastermind, but that was over the phone. But I actually had a physical live mastermind. Why hadn't I done a mastermind in years, a physical one, in person? Why hadn't I done that? Well, why would that be? And I went down memory lane. And this is so interesting. I haven't done a live, physical, show-up, on-site mastermind in years, because the last time I did it, it was 5 years ago. This whole thing was starting up. This whole thing was new. I hadn't been to other countries yet. I hadn't keynoted yet. I was kind of orbiting around a little bit, but I wanted to take the little tiny piece that I had at that time and really put it to work. And what ended up happening is I had the best opportunity, as you probably are in a similar situation where you're actually looking at an opportunity. Maybe you're looking back or you're looking in the present and you're like, this is such a small opportunity. Well, you know what? 5 years from now, it might be an enormous opportunity, because I had 5 years ago, we had it again in a co-working space, but this was a tiny co-working space, but this was Wilmington and Delaware's first co-working space, and I did a mastermind there 5 years ago. And you know what? After the mastermind, and I don't know if it was a result of the mastermind in part or more than that or not at all, but I'll tell you what, they did a deal with the state of Delaware after that, and the state of Delaware funded a much, much larger co-working space, and now it's just so funny. The irony hit me because it's like we have like 4 or 5 co-working spaces in a city of 70,000 people, and I helped some of the founders of this co-working space 5 years ago, and we were doing a mastermind. Now, why was it painful for you with Nathan? Why? This is the law of curiosity. Well, it was a little tough because it was weird. I mean, it was kind of like a little bit of a mismatch, you know. The John Maxwell team and John C. Maxwell, my friend, he has a very corporate image, and that's good because you want to aim for the top. See you, Melanie. Time to host another map. Oh, now there's somebody that doesn't have any problem filling up as many masterminds as she wants. But go for it, Melanie. I'm surprised you're not doing these very much. But it was just amazing to me because I was having this mastermind 5 years ago, and what was happening is it was kind of like I was getting a lot of challenge going on. I was having a lot of challenge, and I correctly discerned it as an opportunity to overcome the challenge. And hey, well, if the law of the lid doesn't mean that to you, what does it mean to you? I mean, if the law of connection doesn't mean that you'd have to touch a heart before you ask for a hand, what does it mean? And that's basically what I would do, and I would force them to answer, and they would answer, and it would mean something to them, which is good. But it was a little rough, and I expended a lot of energy doing that. Now, the good news is we completed it, we wrapped it up, but I was not doing one of these for a while until last night. And my gosh, everybody came to the table. They were ready to dig in. It was awesome. And I was just so happy about it. It's like I came home. I was, on the bus. And then my friend Nathan Cook is on the success call, who's a guy that is younger than I am, but I mean, it was just like, I've been friends with this guy for a while and really appreciate hearing about his story. And I've known this guy for like the last 5 years. We've been to Turning Point together. We've been to Guatemala. We've been to Paraguay. And it was just so great to hear how transparent he was with his story. And I'm thinking, why is this all hitting the chord? And it's just because it's a common thread for me too. The common thread is the more transparent that I'm getting with myself and with you and with other audiences, the more this thing is picking up. And I'll tell you what, if you're looking at this industry, being a coach, being a trainer, being somebody that leads masterminds, being somebody that's leading teams, you better be transparent. I think that is the common lesson. Really key to be transparent. I, even to this day, am a little bit afraid to be myself because I know that it's not really straight-laced and buttoned up, and it's going to be a little goofy. I'll tell you what, when I had our event last week at the library, that was pretty huge. That was really fun, and you probably saw a couple of great pictures there, and I can't thank my friend Alessandra enough for being willing to come out and helping out with the optics and the social proof. It was great. But part of what I loved about that group that came out to the library, hey, David, it was so great to see people in the library, and it was so funny because I was just being transparent. I was being myself, which is not really corporate friendly all that much, even though I do work with corporations and organizations, and I try to put on that appropriate face whenever I possibly can. Sam, good to see you, buddy. And so I was doing things like Monty Python little bunny trail jokes. And the funny thing about this group is they got my jokes, which is so weird. I mean, most people, if you throw that in an audience that is relatively small, 10 or 15 people, nice tight group like we had, that may not go over too well, but it went over pretty well with this group. It was just awesome. So, the transparency just rocks. And what I did is I rolled that over into a more inclusive private group for people really to go deep. And I'm going to do, here's the good news and the bad news. If you're local, if you're watching the replay of this, or if you're even on right now, not really open to you. I mean, it was the people in the library, and then whosoever will that came to the library, we're going to go deeper as a unit. The good news is come to the next library event, or let me know, Nathan, I can't do the library event, but I want to find out about your mastermind group. I will let you know about the next one that we're going to be doing at the mill next month as well. So anyway, just a little bit of sharing. It was just a super day. Day before that, down in Virginia Beach, you saw me at the Facebook Live, saw the beautiful beach that I had before me, the Back Bay, wildlife refuge. And right now I've got we could call this the back brick refuge, because all we have here today is brick. But having said all that update, let's jump right into our little piece here today, which is the law of curiosity. I mean, what is the law of curiosity? It's really, really simple. It's one of those glass doors that are locked in life. And unless you unlock through the key of knowledge that I'm giving you here today, one of them, there are 15, if you imagine a shopping mall with 15 glass doors, and maybe it's the Lego store, maybe it's the video arcade, those of you like me that grew up in the 80s, maybe it's a little fashion store for the ladies, or the other people who like that sort of thing, which is great. A lot of men, are metrosexual men who love dressing up all fancy and all of that. That's all good. Maybe it is the Build the Bear workshop, or you could suggest in the comments what you like. Yeah, curiosity killed the cat, for sure. But it's like a shopping mall, and it's really frustrating unless you are a senior citizen when you go to the shopping mall and all the doors are locked. That is very frustrating, and it's almost like the little birdie when you're inside a meeting room and you're seeing a little birdie on a glass window and whacking against that door. I don't know if you can relate to that. Hopefully you can't relate to that, but I tell you, I can. Because when I graduated from college, when I realized that everything, all the money that I invested that didn't belong to me and didn't even belong to the government, but that I had borrowed from my parents, or they had just flat out given me a portion of that. I mean, it was not good that as a 22-year-old, I realized, hey, there's more to life than what I learned in formal education. It was almost like Homer Simpson when he was sitting on the TV and said to the TV commercial, "You lied to me. You lied to me through song." It was kind of like that. I mean, Homer Simpson going his whole life believing that the Duff beer advertisements and everything else that he's watching on TV was actually trying to help him. It was almost like me, 22 years old, graduated from college, completely burned out, completely fried, and realized, oh my gosh, I didn't even know the basics of life. I didn't know how to touch a heart before I asked for a hand. I was just asking for a hand. I mean, I see people like that. I see little hipster kids in the middle of the traffic, and these are not, these are privileged looking kids. I don't want to make fun of this. I'm not making fun. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I'm saying I'm seeing kids on the street corner in Wilmington, Delaware, with sad little cardboard signs asking for not food, not a job, but they're asking for money. And they have kind of ratty clothes on, but I mean, they look kind of privileged beyond all that. Now, I may get a little bit of hate from this, and I'm not trying to disparage it. I'm saying I could have been one of them because my mindset was so backward, and not because I was looking for a handout. I was like, I just don't know. And so the tie-in that I'm making is I see kids on the corner, and I mean, we have homeless shelters, we have places to go and apply for jobs, we have everything else. You probably have too, and they're like, hey, give me an easy path out, or give me just something to do. And it's like, it's not easy. Personal growth is hard, and realizing that you have a wrong approach to your life or to where you are, that really where you are right now is a result of all the choices you've made, the bad choices or not so great choices, or the sub-optimized choices, rather than society's fault or anything else like that, can be the case in many cases. I was in that boat. I just graduated from college. I'm like, oh, I got the wrong major, did the wrong stuff, did all of that stuff. If you went to college with me, I'm sorry. Looking back, probably should have done it a little different. But you know what? It was great opportunity for me because I realized I needed to work on myself. And there are a lot of people that just take off in their career, they take off in their family, they take off in their social, they do all this, but they don't have the opportunity to hit the wall earlier so that they can rebuild and build a conscious foundation in their life, build themselves through character, through giving, and through helping other people. And it was that 2x4 against my head that caused me to start asking why. after 22 years of having the answers and just being all focused and all that. It's good to be focused. It's good to be resourceful. It's good to have direction, but it's good also never to stop asking why. So same thing happened with our friend John Maxwell here. You know, he was in college and they gave him one of these little 1950s, 1960s personality tests, and it was a creativity test. Supposedly, can you imagine how they measured creativity in the 50s and 60s? He flunked the test. And you know what? It caused him to realize, oh my gosh, I'm not very creative, which the man is extremely creative. But he thought, how could I be more creative? Which is a really creative way to think about being more creative. I mean, how meta is that? And as a result of that, he started quoting other people and third-party validation and social proof and all of these things that we didn't know back then. He started putting those in his books. He started putting those in his sermons back in the day, and he just started to rock it. And it was because he asked why, and he asked how. And it was just an amazing thing. I am wondering if that's my dog doing the barking at the neighbors. So if you excuse me right now, Holy, you get over here. Stop doing that. Sorry, everybody. Here she comes. Here she comes. You want to see Cole. I heard a little bit of barking. And meet my dog, Cole. Yeah, now you just stay over here, Coley. I'm doing a Facebook Live. Thank you for excusing me to do that. I didn't know what was going on. I heard some barking. The dog never barks. You don't harass those neighbors, Coley. We have good neighbors around here, although I've never met those particular neighbors. Welcome to America, first world issues. Go figure. So yeah, it's good to see you, Coley. All right, now it's time to get into. Sorry for the baby voice, everybody. It's talking to my dog. All right, time to go through some of the questions that will help you to also be really curious and be able to turn that curiosity. We want to take the curiosity and not just keep it curious, not just stay in perpetual curiosity only, but we want to turn that into awareness and growth. So here's the first thing. I mean, the first step to curiosity and leveraging the law of curiosity is to do the same thing Maxwell did, to know that you can be curious too, that you can actually have the awareness to be curious and cultivate that. It's not a fixed quality asset. It is not a character trait. It is a skill. It is a muscle. You know, asking other people why, asking other people questions, learning from other people will help you grow. And it's absolutely huge. So we've got to believe that we can be curious. Here's the next thing that we can do. We can have a beginner's mindset. We can have a beginner's mindset. I mean, how does that work? Why does it work? How well does it work? What are the impacts of that working? I mean, beginner's mindset, it's like I've been writing sales copy, I've been writing funnels, I've been writing emails, I've been doing Eventbrite things, but I can learn so much from other people's Eventbrite stuff, even more than my own, because they're done well and because I have a beginner's mindset. And also allows me not to beat up on myself for not doing it perfectly all the time. I mean, you think about how the heck can we do things perfectly all the time? It's pretty hard. Now, it is a hot day here today, so I am experiencing severe burning in my eyes, but the show must go on. We've got another few steps to go through, so I'm going to give you 10 steps. Again, number one, do you believe you can be curious? Number two, do you have that beginner's mindset? So important. Number three, do you have a favorite word? And do you have the right favorite word for curiosity? What do you think the favorite word would be? What's the magic word? Why? Now, how many of us have kids? I am lowering my hand. How many of us have kids? Maybe you do. I don't have kids. I have this little dog that barks in the neighbor. But they ask why all the time. Now, I have nieces, I have nephews, and it's like why all day long. That, my friends, is a great piece to have. That is a great skill to have. That is a great word to have. Hey, Abby, it's good to see you. And it is awesome to ask that question why, because then you're going to have growth. Now, it's not awesome to do that to tick off your parents or whatever, but we've got to assume the best about our kids. Let's just, what we could do is assume that they want to grow because they're asking why so much, and we can begin to maybe lecture them a little bit more, and they may stop asking why. You think that'll work? Abby, you've got kids. When they start whying us all the time, I don't have kids yet, but I'm thinking if we turn that into a teachable moment, turn that into growth, and over lecture them strategically, they may stop asking extra superfluous and vacuous whys. I think that may work. I don't know. Try it out. I'll try it out now. Unfortunately, vacation ended for me. I'm not with my nieces and nephews anymore, but I'm going to try that next time. So have you made the why your favorite word? Gene, good to see you, my friend. Love your insights, Nathan. Oh, I love your insights, buddy. Good job at out west serving your Optimist Club and everything else. And I'm doing this so that I can read the comments. I'm actually creating a comment background so I can read what the heck people are writing here on the screen. So I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. I am strategically employing additional fingers so that no one gets offended. And that is the way that we're doing this right now. So here's a quick recap, and I've got a few more steps for you. 10 steps to cultivating curiosity. Do you believe that you can be curious? Because you can. Number 2, do you have a beginner's mindset? Number 3, have you picked your new favorite word, the word why? That is a great word for growth, especially when you're ticked off, especially when you're losing money on some kind of an experiment or advertising or some kind of a calculated risk. Better to ask why than to just, say a bad word or cuss or yell at somebody or something. I mean, it's better to ask, oh, isn't that interesting? It's what our mentor does, right? Got some other Maxwell folks here on the line, on the live line. That's what we say. Oh, isn't that interesting? I lost $1,000. Isn't that interesting? And why do we say it? Do we say it because we're in a great mood? No, we say that because we're hoping to trigger a curious reflex instead of just the predictable, oh, darn it, and throwing things and smashing things. We don't want to do that in the real world. And all the entrepreneurs said, amen. Yeah, amen. So I'm getting itchy. I am sweating. Luckily, my eyes aren't burning anymore, but I'm committed to sticking it out for this teaching here. Why? Because I am, I guess we're all narcissists when we get into Facebook Live. I'm going to end and finish what I started. Let's go into the next one. Number 4. Who do you hang out with? Are you hanging out with curious people, or are you hanging out with people that don't ask many questions? Not too much fun to hang out with people that don't ask too many questions. I want to be a person that asks more questions. I'm one of those people, I don't ask a whole lot of questions yet. I want to ask more and more and more questions. Number 5, do you learn something new every day? Do you learn something new every day? Now, I don't know that I learn something new every day, but the book here says you should learn something new every day. Here's something big I learned yesterday. I learned something really big. I learned a whole lot of big things yesterday. One thing that I learned is that statistically, and it has nothing to do with growth, but it has to do with violence in Wilmington and the bad press that we've sometimes been getting. I was at Rotary Club, and we had Ashley Biden from the Delaware Center of Justice. She was talking about systematic, violence and systematic injustice and all of this sort of thing. And it was really great because I learned something. I learned that a lot of the violence, almost all the violence in my city, is just confined to a few neighborhoods, and the rest of it is perfectly safe. And the perception in the media and mass consciousness, all of that stuff would say something else, but that's not true at all. So I learned something new. Here's something else new that I learned yesterday, because I did my first in-person mastermind in years yesterday, and I learned that, guess what? Unlike 5 years ago, we have all kinds of meeting places where we can physically meet. Unlike 5 years ago, there is a huge, thriving startup community of people maybe haven't scored their big win yet, haven't gotten funding yet for their business in all situations, and they're bootstrapping it. But man, are they hungry for growth. And so it was great being able to add value to people at the mill yesterday and seeing the impact of it. So those are a couple of things that I learned, and I learned the reason why I haven't done an in-person mastermind in a long, long time. It's because I didn't think it was going to work, but it tells me that it really does work when you meet people physically. So that's going to be something that I'm going to be doing more of. You can hear more about that in the future. Let's recap. We're halfway through. I am going to land this plane in the next 4 minutes. That is my solemn pledge to you. 10 reasons and ways and steps. 10 steps to become curious and use the law of curiosity to stimulate more growth in whatever area of your life. What is the area of your life that you need the growth, that you need the win, that you need to just really rapidly grow? You can do it in these 5 steps, 10 steps. Here's the first 5. Do you believe you can be curious? Do you have the mindset of a beginner? Have you made your new favorite magic word the word why? Just like your favorite little kid. Number 4, do you spend time with other curious people? That's huge. That's what we did in the mastermind yesterday. Number 5, step 5, do you learn something new every day? I learned many new things yesterday. I hope you did too. Number 6, this is great because this is the F word. I'm going to say the F word. Okay, better mute your lines because I'm going to say the F word because the F word is the word failure. Failure is the F word for all of us, even those of us that employ the F word liberally and all of that. The F word is failure. That is more of a stigma than that other secondary F word, failure. But you know why? It's because we need to reframe that as a positive thing. Because when you partake of the fruit of failure, as it talks about in the book, when you harvest the failure, when you learn from failure, when you're like, oh, isn't that interesting? I failed. Isn't that interesting? I lost money. Or isn't that interesting? I got a different response that lost me some time or resources. When you start looking at it in a fruitful way, that could be another F word, fruit. You know, as a kid, I don't know about you, but I liked Fruity Pebbles more than Cocoa Pebbles. How many people were with me? Did you like Fruity Pebbles or are you a Cocoa Pebble person? I don't know. I was a Fruity Pebble because I would spin the little Fruity Pebbles around. I'd make turn my milk into this weird little rainbow color. A little bit of a bunny trail there, but failure can be a fruity thing and it can be a good rainbow colored thing if we look at it as something other than mud. If we look at it something other than Cocoa Pebbles or brown and bleh. If we look at it as this wonderful rainbow colored thing, we can partake in the fruit of failure, which is good. Don't make failure the F word. It's a good thing. Failure is a key to learning and growth, and all success stories out there have learned from failure. They have a different mindset towards failure than you do, or maybe I do, and it gets them in the right direction. It's huge. Number 7, have you stopped looking for the right answer? Why would you want to stop looking for the answer? Why? Because maybe the answer is plural instead of singular. Maybe there are many different options. Maybe there are many different pivots. Startup companies. I'm talking about co-working facilities and startup companies. The only way that you're going to win when you're validating any company, whether it's a startup right now or whether it's a mature company or whatever, is by pivoting. Is going to be by seeing the actual feedback you're getting from your customers, your clients, the marketplace, and changing and tweaking and doing that and staying curious so that you can be quick and pivot on your feet and make it work. Number 8, have you gotten over yourself? This is key to overcoming failure. You've got to get over yourself. You've got to look at failure instead of looking at it as an F word. Look at it as a good thing. Get over the failure. Get over yourself. Do you get out of the box? That's number 9. Get out of that box. There's no one box. There's no one way of doing something. Pivot and make it happen. And number 10, are you enjoying life? Are you enjoying life? If you can enjoy your life, you are going to enjoy your life. You're going to have a happier time. You're going to embody a lot of these attributes that I'm going to summarize for you, these 10 steps in a minute. But that's a great way to summarize all of this stuff, that you enjoy your life. If you enjoy your life, it's easier to do these 10 things. Let's go right back and then we're wrapping up. Okay. Do you believe, step 1, you can be curious? Number 2, do you have the mindset of a beginner? Number 3, have you made why your favorite word? It's the magic word of why. Number 4, do you spend time with other curious people? Who do you surround yourself with? Number 5, do you learn something new every day? Number 6, do you partake in the fruit of failure? Number 7, have you stopped looking for one right answer, the right answer? Maybe there are many answers. Maybe there are many great answers, good answers, instead of right answers. So many places to take that. Number 8, have you gotten over yourself? Can you laugh at yourself? Can you drop Monty Python idioms and sayings in the middle of your library talk like I did, even if people don't get it? But they did get it. That's the amazing thing, because I was being transparent and it triggered something. It's great. Have you gotten over yourself? Number 9, do you get out of the box? And number 10, are you enjoying your life? Hey, this has been 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. I'm just taking these every one at a time. Those of you that are Maxwell coaches that are still watching this, not a bad way to create some repurposable content for yourself. I really appreciate the business model of the John Maxwell team to be able to impact organizations, teams, and eradicate miscommunication, dysfunction, and disarray from organizations all over here in Delaware. That is my mission. You might say that's too big, Nathan. Well, exactly. That's why we need to start. That's why we need to do this. And just really, really excited for our next event at the Wilmington Public Library, the 10th of August, just coming up in just a couple of short weeks here. I am really thankful to add value to you today. Thanks for spending time on the update earlier, and take care, everybody. I'll see you on the next one.